The average size of a farm in the United States in 1900 was less than 150 acres. Farmers were able to monitor the needs of their crop without much difficulty. But as time went on, farms expanded, making the job of looking after the crop much more challenging. Today, the average size of a farm is nearly 4 times what it was back then, and some farms are thousands of acres in size. Because of that, farmers have had to find new ways to get the information they need about their crop, and they must use advanced technology to do it. That's where the drones, as the public likes to call them, come in.
We prefer the term unmanned air systems, aerial systems, because there's actually 3 parts to these things. There's the vehicle, and then there's the ground station, the computer that communicates with them and controls them and collects the imagery. And then there's the pilot, which is a large part. It's not unmanned. There is a man on the ground, it's just that he's not in the cockpit. They are being used for agriculture, and there's a lot of work going on for several reasons. With crop stands, when the crop first comes up, plant stand counts, because you can fly so low with these and you can get 1/8 of a pixel resolution. You can detect when that crop's coming up and how that crop's coming up very early on, much earlier, so the farmer can get back out there and replant if there's been a frost or a freeze.
The aircraft flies a set pattern over a field, taking pictures all the way. The pictures are then loaded into a computer with software that stitches the pictures together to make one huge mosaic picture of the whole field.
The technology really is mostly based on pattern matching. So it takes the images and sees how they overlay or match. So it matches key points automatically in frames. Their software now, you can just take all the images and throw it at it and it'll make the mosaic. Some ways you can be smarter about it if you have oblique images. For example, when a plane banks, the images are oblique. They're kind of stretched. If you look at your plane parameters and throw those out, that can be done somewhat automatically, and don't use those images, you'll get a better mosaic. It's pretty inexpensive software, and it's been around for a while.
So this makes it very easy for a farmer to monitor thousands of acres of his farm without ever having to leave the farm office. It means you have eyes on the crop. You can understand if you have a disease problem, a drought issue, an insect infestation, or a nutrient deficiency. But here's the problem. The Federal Aviation Administration controls the airspace and the things that fly through it. The FAA traditionally had policies allowing hobbyists to fly models lower than 400 feet, but using drones professionally, like a farmer monitoring his crop, would be illegal. They wanted to limit the number of drones in the air because, with the cost of drones continuing to drop, the sheer number of these unmanned vehicles in the sky would be a huge concern for commercial and professional air traffic safety. Filmmakers, farmers, and others are all eager for the opportunity to use the drones, so the FAA has a huge challenge on its hands.
Congress said there will be model aircraft and you're to let them be model aircraft. In my world, in some ways, I have an issue with the fact that you can buy anything you want as a hobbyist as long as it's below 55 pounds total weight. You fly it below 400 feet, you keep it within line of sight, you fly during daylight hours, and you don't sell your services or your product. Lots of people are getting away with lots of illegal activity, and what the FAA is really trying to concentrate on is education and the really dangerous things like flying some of these quadcopters in metropolitan areas over large crowds. They're trying to educate that those are manufactured objects, they are consumer grade, they will fail, and that there is a safety issue there.
So the great unknown is what kind of regulations the FAA will eventually impose. The rules are due out later this year. Until then, there is a need to train people in the use of this technology. Hines Community College in Raymond launched a program 2 years ago to teach students to use this technology when it becomes available for commercial use.
And me being associated with agriculture and loving aviation and involved in aviation, I said there's going to be opportunity. So started developing process and programs for that. And my relationship with the school here has been ongoing for a number of years. And we knew that when this really did roll out in a commercial way, that there's going to be a huge demand for operators of these vehicles. And there's nowhere to train. There's nowhere that we could, you can't go and just sign up on the street corner for doing this. It's pretty specialized. So the school, Hines Community College, being a progressive institution that it is, forward thinking with an active aviation department. We have 141 Flight School, we have a A&P Technician School, we have other aviation programs. It was a natural fit for Hines Community College to adapt and adopt this technology into their program and train the operators of the future for this technology.
Basically, we're learning how to use UAVs for commercial use. It could be for military contracting, or it could be for agricultural use. But either way, there's much use that these unmanned aerial vehicles can be used for. So we're just learning every aspect that we can take advantage of once it's legalized for commercial use.
Most everyone understands that unmanned aerial vehicles have a bright future in the state. Right now, though, the question is when that technology will be allowed.